Welcome back to the Really OK Hockey Podcast. We are very honored to have our first guest to the podcast, Mr. Drew Boyd of the St. Louis Blues Warriors Hockey Organization. Welcome, Drew, to the podcast. Go ahead and tell us a little bit about yourself, with the organization.
My name is Drew Boyd. I've been with the Blues Warriors for almost 5 years. Started September of 2019. Never played hockey a day in my life. Currently now, no longer a player. I am now on helping on the coaching staff side of things, but played at the Delta level for the past 4.5 years. Just finished up my last stint as the tournament director for the Gateway Warrior Classic. Prior to that, prior Air Force for 8.5 years. I was a UAV sensor operator, so drone guy, out at Cannon Air Force Base, New Mexico.
Nice. Are you originally from the St. Louis area? Is that how you ended up back there?
I am from Southeast Missouri.
Southeast Missouri?
About an hour and a half away from St. Louis.
Nice. I didn't know this was your last year, and I'm kind of sad I missed it. We were, for those that don't know, we were supposed to do a live podcast, but I ran into some issues and couldn't make it down. It's kind of sad I missed your last one.
I didn't know it was going to be my last year either until Sunday, and I was like, oh, yep, it's done. My body can't do it no more.
Yeah. I remember the year before we were chatting with you and your wife, I think, about what it takes to, to put the tournament on every year. And she kind of laughed and she said, find someone that's single.
Yeah, pretty much. It's 6 months of, the way I do it, 6 months at a minimum dedication.
Yeah. What started that? Like, I know we've been coming to the tournament for a few years now, but I don't think I really knew that it was running for 5 years. How'd you get into that? Did you just kind of take the lead on that?
So the first Gateway was started by Emily and Steve Hana. And then the second year I was like, I really want to kind of do more besides just sitting in the background. So I was like, hey, do you need help? And Emily was like, yeah. And then all of a sudden it was like, hey, it's all yours. So in my head, like I already had a lot of things that I wanted to accomplish. Obviously, I wasn't going to do it in 1 year, but I had a long-term goal for, the Gateway. And so I took it over back in 2021, because I think 2020 was the first year. Yeah. And I had ideas in my head, and, obviously I can come up with all the ideas in the world, but if money's not there, then you obviously can't do it. But, we've grown every year. We have grown. This past one was the largest one we've had so far, with, I think, 31 teams total from Bravo down to Delta.
Nice.
Yeah. And we're slowly getting more teams, from across the country. Obviously, Warrior Hockey is growing every year. So really trying to focus on those teams that don't get to go out to Warrior Classic or Nationals and bringing them into ours. Because I would like to say we're probably one of the biggest ones. Obviously, Hendy's outside of, Nationals and Warrior Classic, Hendy's probably the biggest. But non-USA ran, I think we're the biggest.
Yeah, and it's like we tell people constantly, like it's a great tournament. St. Louis is probably our favorite one to go to every year.
I appreciate that.
It's you guys run it. There's obviously kinks every year. Honestly, I think that's why the vets kind of like Warrior is because, you'll have issues every year, but as far as Warriors well and above, better than like some other stuff like Can-Am, stuff like that. Like we played those tournaments and it's just now fun because it's just horrible.
Warrior Hockey it's a different breed. Obviously, we share the same thing at the end of the day. It's never going to be perfect. We do the best that we can. Like I have a guy who spends weeks just going through everybody's score sheets, what we can find. Obviously, we're not going to find everything. but for the most part, we put in hours and hours to making sure that we put it on as fair as possible.
Yeah.
And we don't just throw you in there because we want to. Like USA Hockey, you go to Classic or Nationals, and you could be a Bravo team and say, I'm playing Delta. And they're like, okay, cool.
Yeah.
But, we've told teams, no, that ain't happening. You're going to be playing up here.
Yeah, no, I know we had 1 year we had an issue where we just did not feel comfortable we were playing. Like we just got blown out. I mean, it's unfortunate going to a tournament and you can't compete, but just being able to play with the guys and everything. But like I said, you realize there was an issue and you made it right. And I know the guys had a much better time this year, playing. So if there are problems, it's always corrected, So and a lot of times there's just not anything going wrong, So.
Like every year, you guys are working out the kinks, and I feel like that's what's going to create, a really good tournament. Is you learn from past mistakes and you fix them, and I mean you're gonna run into roadblocks everywhere you go, But from what I've seen and what I've witnessed, I've been to your tournament. Let's say 3 of them. I've been to 3 of them, and progressively they've gotten better each year. So
yeah, I mean, there's always lessons to be learned, and there's always kinks. I mean, and especially since it's growing, like. New players come about, right? And obviously, let's say, you're a brand new player to Warrior Hockey, but you've been playing all your life. Like, obviously, I'm not going to catch that because I know nothing about you. But, stuff like that falls through the cracks. It happens. We're human at the end of the day. But, we like to say that we do our due diligence to the best of our ability.
Yeah, it definitely shows.
Yeah, I personally haven't had any complaints. I think it's a pretty good segue as well. You guys put on a great tournament every year, it seems like, but in order to put something on like that, you got to have the funds to do it. What's it like getting sponsors to help that tournament function every year?
So, the first year that I did this on my own, I emailed companies across the country. Like, no joke, I just spammed everybody I could think of. I focused a lot in the St. Louis area. St. Louis is we're pretty big on veteran-owned business, so I was trying to do my best to get as many as those are. We have Purina, who, for the past 4 years has consistently, gave us money for this, and then some other donations here and there. But as I have done this year after year, it's gotten harder. Obviously, without going into politics, the economy, whoever's in charge really dictates what we can and can't do at the end of the day. This year was a struggle. I'm not even going to lie. I think probably $20,000 less than what I got the year before, and probably $40,000 from the year prior to that. When stuff's tight, stuff's tight. You just have to make do. That's why we didn't have a player party like we have in the past. We have to cut certain things that, financially would be great to pull off, but when you don't have the money, you just make do.
Yeah, that's got to be tough. I know personally I've tried to find, sponsorships for different events here and there. And I know it's tough, but you guys have a much bigger operation than I've ever attempted to put on. So I couldn't even imagine, trying that. And every year, we always seen Grunt Style and First Form there, big companies and that come out and support the vets and just kind of give stuff away, really. I've gotten free t-shirts and, supplements and stuff like that. So,
so when Grunt Style came out, I didn't even know. Somebody was like, oh, hey, Grunt Style's here. And I was like, oh, okay. And yeah, they're past. They brought in 3,000 t-shirts just to give away. I didn't. And that was their first year because they now have a location in St. Louis.
Yeah.
And so I was like, oh, okay. But yeah, it's hard. But the one thing I've tried to, preach to our organization was if you want money, you have to do something in order to earn it, right? You need to be out in the community. You have to be giving back. It's great to play hockey. I mean, I love the sport of hockey, but at the end of the day, most places don't care that you are disabled veterans playing hockey. Let's be real, right?
Yeah.
It's what are you going to do to be like, hey, this is why you need to fund us. And that's something that, other than the tournament, I mean, I run Toys for Tots, our Army-Navy game where we collect toys and then we go out and pass those out. We do an I-70 showdown with Kansas City we just brought in Tulsa this past one, but, it's to raise money for cancer awareness. We do all kinds of stuff now. But, in the beginning, it was just vets playing hockey. Now it's more... We're now starting to really focus on let's get out, let's get our name really known by the public, and then move from there. And it's starting to pay off.
Yeah, I think that the more you give back to your community, and that the community sees it, and they're more willing to help. Like I know these guys, like they came out and helped these kids, or cleaned up the park or something like that. And that's one thing that I hope a lot of warrior organizations across the country could see and kind of try to get better at. I know, we got a couple groups here in Vegas that, I want to see us doing more, to seeing what we can do to give back. And so that's a great point.
Yeah, I mean, if you want to, start somewhere, find your closest Marine Corps league and say, hey, why don't we put on a game for Toys for Tots? We bring in toys and then go help them pass it out. I'm sure there's one out there.
Yeah. Oh yeah. I tried to set up a game here for Toys for Tots, and the timing just wasn't right, unfortunately. But hopefully next year we'll get that going.
Yep. It's planning.
Yeah. Yeah. Like it's got to start like now, because I started kind of late. I just was fortunate to have a contact with the Henderson Silver Knights, our AHL team with the Knights, and. They were super excited to host us and to help us, make something out of it. It was just,
Yeah, there's a game there, isn't it? Battleborn Veterans Hockey against the Sentinels?
Yep.
Is that it? What are the Sentinels? What is that?
Sentinels is their police and fire, first responders,
Okay.
and military. I played with them for a little bit too. They're a great organization here too. So. Yeah, doing stuff like that definitely takes a lot more planning than I gave it last time. So,
I mean, but like Drew said, it's got to be. It can't just be vets playing hockey. There's got to be something that's like, hey, we're here for the community. We're here to give back. We're here to help out, and that's sets a great foundation of how you can build. What we're trying to build here.
Yeah, and I picked that up because I Facebook stalk every organization. I'm not even gonna lie, and Colorado really stood out to me. I mean, Colorado was always out doing soup kitchens and stuff like that with the homeless, and I was like, we should do the same thing. Like, there's no reason we shouldn't be. I mean, we've all struggled in one way or another. And what better way, now that we have our feet somewhat on the ground, is to help those that really need it too. And yeah, like I said, I mean, you start doing that and the money will come. It may take a while, but you have to get out there and do it.
Yeah, and then the more warrior organizations that do this, like it just creates that better name for the whole program. Like especially those businesses that are kind of national, they're like, oh, we dealt with the St. Louis Blues Warriors, and they were a great organization. Like, yeah, we're going to help this other organization in a different city,
right?
Just because they know that's what Warrior stands for. Is we're about helping disabled vets, but at the same time, we're about making our communities better as well.
Yep.
Hey, so I want to kind of backpedal here a little bit. And kind of steer away from just the organization itself. How did you get started in hockey, Drew? Because I know, you kind of help the Blues, Warriors, and where they're at now. But like you personally, how did you start getting in hockey?
So it's funny. A guy I used to work with, Mike Duncan, he's on the Blue team. He and I worked together, and he had, found a new job, moved on, and I saw his Facebook, and I'm like, he's playing hockey. He's like, oh, I'm playing for, St. Louis Blues Warriors, brand new organization. It's for disabled veterans. And I was like, man, that'd be really cool. I just don't know how to skate. I don't know how to play. I mean, I've skated 5 times in my whole life, as a kid, and that was it. And I was like, that'd be really cool to do, but I can't do it. And he's like, oh, no, they'll teach you. I was like, no, you won't. There's no way somebody's going to spend that much time teaching me how to do this. Like, the way I thought was, if you didn't play hockey as a kid, you're not playing as an adult. Because it's a tough sport to learn as an adult. I mean, kids, it's easier for them, but they got a lot of time. But adults, especially a broken one, like there is no way I am going to get my happy ass out there on the ice and play hockey. And he's like, no, just sign up. So, I signed up, and at that same time, full disclosure, I'd been drinking a lot. And I signed up for the UFC and the WWE all at the same time. Only got one phone call, and that was the Blues Warriors. And they were like, oh, yeah, come on. I told him, I don't know how to do any of this stuff. And then, so I showed up after I got the phone call, and I mean, we have great coaching staff, Rob Ramage, Don Harvey, Mike McKenna, Jeff Lavecchio as our fitness guy. I mean, all these guys have played the sport of hockey for their whole life. And, once you get on the ice, they're like, hey, here's how you do this. Here's how you do that. And obviously it takes time you have to learn it yourself too, right? You can't just expect, one day a week you're going to pick up hockey and be phenomenal. I mean, there was a lot of times I'd go stick and puck or drop in hockey after that. Once I got my skates, got used to skating and really learned how to go forward, not so much backwards at the time, but, just small things. And then you just start just putting in the work. And, I mean, it's taken me 4 years to do it, but I got somewhat okay.
Did they provide you with gear or?
So we have partnered with Lindenwood and the Blues for certain things. So I've never bought a stick. All my sticks have either come from the St. Louis Blues as a lefty, right? There's a ton of right-handed players. They all want to have right-handed sticks. Well,
and they're so weird,
a lot
right?
of left-handed sticks that are unclaimed, and guess what? I got them all. And that was before I learned about flex. And then I was like, oh, I'm sitting here rocking a freaking, De La Rosa's stick, and it was like 120 flex, and I don't even know what I'm doing with it. Yeah, whatever. I don't need that. But I mean, I did buy my own gear. But we do have, guys that have been playing forever. They have their leftover gear. They have donated to the organization. Lindenwood donated some. The Blues have. I mean, so if you're really hard up for stuff, I mean, we'll make it work.
That's awesome. That's when I was with the Dallas organization, they actually had a Connex full of used gear that nobody had, and anybody that wanted to come out, I think they did an annual clinic where it was just veterans or their families where they could come out and same thing, teach them how to skate, and see if they liked it, they can keep coming out, and if not, at least you tried,
Right.
But no, I think that's awesome. I think a lot more organizations need to do that, just kind of have like their own lending closet in a sense. And,
Yeah, I mean, and I get it. It's hard for a lot of them. I mean, we're blessed. I won't even lie. We have the backing of the St. Louis Blues, and there's a lot of organizations that are in the area of a NHL organization that aren't so fortunate, but it's not impossible to get. But like guys out in Oklahoma or Nebraska, right? They're really fending for themselves, trying to figure it out. And I think at the end of the day, if Warrior Hockey wanted to make this work, I think that's where you kind of all come together. I mean, we're really good at tactically acquiring some stuff here and there, and if we have to, got some stuff that we don't use that maybe another organization can use, why not send it out that way? I don't know. I mean, but, for you guys, I don't know if you guys are backed by the Knights yet. I know that was kind of in the works.
We're very close, actually.
Yeah.
So.
But, you having that backing really does help. I mean, Dallas got it. I think Colorado has it, Carolina, Florida. You'll start to see these organizations when the NHL starts to really pay attention to what's going on, that they'll be like, hey, let's get these guys some gear. But then it becomes up to us to help our own and help those that can't. They don't have the backings, like Alaska. I mean, come on. Of course, I mean they play hockey as kids anyway, so I think they're good.
Yeah.
Yeah, you have to ask Z about that. He played for them for a bit.
Zimmy played for Alaska Warriors, and he had a great time up there.
Yeah.
You can definitely tell though, like a lot of the organizations that have the NHL team backing, like they're the organizations that are doing really well. Like going to these tournaments and winning, on a regular basis and stuff like that. And I know when we played you guys. I didn't go this year, obviously, but last year I went, and you guys were our first game, and the skill level was like pretty much the same. Like it was a good fit, skill matchup, but you could tell like that the Blues organization is coached really well because like you guys were walking circles around. I think we lost 6-0 that first game against you guys, and we were
alumni.
competing, so
The Blues alumni really. They are really the workhorse of our coaching staff. I mean, we have almost every alumni that's out there has been on the ice with us at one point and, shown their tips and tricks. I mean, Reed Lowe has been out multiple times and, told us his story of, him being an enforcer. And then their NHL was like, hey, we're kind of moving away from that. You might want to learn how to skate. And, he would drive hours to go get skating lessons, and he's an NHL player. I mean, so then he came to our practice and like, here's what I learned. Here's how you make your stride better. Here's how you, get those angles right and use your edges. And these guys that we have just really focus on the basics, and you don't go past the basics until you got it down.
Yeah. I know that's I'm also I started hockey, after my military service, and I've been playing like I think 10 years, but like that's the one thing a lot of us miss out on. So like Jurky played as a kid, and so they focus more on those fundamentals that kind of like that the building block stuff, and when we kind of start out as adults, obviously we want to learn how to shoot, we want to get skating down as best we can, and so we miss out on a lot of that, the fundamentals of hockey and skating and that kind of stuff. And I think you can definitely tell, when you see one of us, skating around rather than Jurky, who's got it like, pretty much all together. So like, yeah, I'm just inflating his ego right now. But, even me, like I've been playing for a while, and, skating's still my weak point, So it's funny, I watched my kid. My youngest is starting to play hockey, and like I'll watch his lessons when we're taking the skating lessons, and I'm taking stuff away from what I see his coaches working with him. I'm like, all right, I'm gonna try that next time I get a stick and puck or something like that.
So I know you mentioned that Jeff is your guys' conditioning coach, which I remember running to him. Was it maybe 2 or 3 years ago? I played against him in the alumni game, and he's just a great guy all around. I think he actually when he sent out that code, I joined up with you guys for the the off ice workouts, and I still use that to this day. To kind of stay loose, stay limber as much as I can, try to keep the pounds off. But what else is everybody else's role for your guys' coaching staff? So you said you guys work on basic fundamentals for new players, and I know you have different tiers for the program. I'm sure they work on different stuff. Can you describe those different levels and how they contribute?
So, you talking about like coaching-wise?
Coaching-wise, skating lessons, etc.
Yeah, so like we have Mike McKenna, who played the NHL for a long time as a goalie, and he's the goalie coach. So he comes out when he can. He just opened his own business. He owns a Macadoodles, which is a Missouri brand liquor store. But he comes out and he shows the goalies at all levels, right? Not just the upper, lower. He's out there for all of them when it's their practice time. Working on whatever they do with their skates, pushing off, all that stuff. When you get into the upper level, obviously the coaches still, you still have like Don Harvey and Scoey and Coach Betty. Those are the 3 main coaches for all the teams. So we have 5, almost 6 teams total, right? So we have 2 Delta, a Charlie, a Bravo, and an Alpha. So at the Alpha level, Alpha Bravo level, it's more of really refining your skills, and making the plays happen. You get in the Charlie, you're kind of still working on the minor details, but then you're also kind of advancing the drills. And at the Delta level, it's mostly, you're still working the drills, but there are, I guess I'll use the word, it's dumbed down, right? So easiest possible level. We're not getting it too crazy.
Simplified.
Yep, simplified, right? So you're not going crazy doing like transitions here and there, but you're really still working on the passes, the the working the angles and all that stuff. But so yeah, Coach Harv does all that for every level. He changes it up.
That's awesome. I love that. And that's how it should be, with any alumni or ex-NHL or even an ex-college guy. Like, you don't have to have that huge resume to be like, hey, I'm going to show up to these practices. I'm going to help these vets learn to play hockey and, help them get better. Because at the end of the day, that's our outlet. That's one of our only outlets that, we can come out to. We can kind of be ourselves. For me, I can be myself. And so on and so forth. Did you have anything else, Nate? Touch base on the Blues Warriors hockey, or did you want to move on to the next subject here? This one's going to get lengthy.
Anything you want to tell us about the Blues organization? Like, how long how'd you guys get your Blues affiliation? I think a lot of teams
I don't know the details behind that, but I know Nathan Laup he worked with the Blues since he started Steve Hayna, Emily Hayna, Jared McGowan, those guys they're the founders of the organization. And I think they came up with a concept that they wanted to present to the Blues. And then they found their way to the front office and then said, hey, here's what we want. Like, here's what we're doing. Do you guys want to be on board, or how can you support us? And then it was probably some back and forth and whatnot. I don't know the logistics of it, but I know there was talks, between the founding members and the Blues, and then they were just like, "Yeah, we're in."
Yeah, I know. Like, we've been working for years now, trying to get in, get the ear of the Knights, and that's made some really good progressions, over the past year. So, like a lot of teams, like I feel like the more Warrior teams that can make this connection, it's better for the program, and I think better for the NHL as a whole. When fans and people outside see what the NHL and the teams are doing for vets, like, that's just gonna blow the league up even better.
Right. It's hard for Vegas because we don't quite have an alumni yet.
Yeah.
I think we have Derek England running around. I think Hairzy's son was doing lessons with him. Was it this morning or was it yesterday?
It was a couple of days ago, yeah.
A couple of days ago. And then I guess we had Alex Tuck until he got traded. Yeah. Because he, American born, and he was all about the veterans. And it seemed like they had a good thing, but it was cut short.
I'm going to get Jack. I'm going to get
Jack from you guys, too, so,
Yeah. We got to get Jack, dude. I mean, he was just in Four Nations crushing it with the Kachuk brothers, dude. Yeah. Oh, my God.
Yeah.
The face of USA hockey is now the Kachuk brothers.
Yeah.
At first, I wasn't a fan, and then when they were playing for the team I was going for, I was like, oh, okay, I see it. I guess it's like being a Tom Wilson fan with the Caps, right?
Yep, definitely.
Yeah, but then you got two of them.
Yeah, it's nice. I mean, they came out, I want to say 3 years ago. So the Chuck brothers and the dad, I mean, they were all out for our practice, and everybody had a blast with them. I did not happen to make it. I had to go to work, sadly, but everybody that talked about it when those guys showed up, they were like, it was the coolest thing ever. I mean, they were down to earth, and they love what we're doing. And I think, you really start to put it in people's ears. I think it'll catch eventually. It just takes time.
Yeah, I know. I saw Greg post a picture with Makachuk the other day, and I was like, oh, that's pretty cool. And especially that, he's not a Blue. He's never been a Blue, but, because of his dad, obviously he's, the boys make it back and, give back to their dad's kind of alma mater. And I know I've seen the Florida Panthers Warriors. They do stuff down there with them too. So it's great seeing these pro athletes that don't really have to do much, but like they get excited to work with vets and see our passion for hockey is right up there with theirs. So
you got to start getting you got to make them custom mouth guards, so they just start gnawing on them. You're like, oh yeah, there's our logo,
right? I mean, we keep seeing after Blues games. I mean, there's Bennington wears a Blues Warrior hat when he does his little press release and stuff like that. More and more we start seeing it on these players, and it's like, holy shit! Like, how did you? Like one, how did you get that? And two, like, that's awesome.
Yeah.
It's very cool. We can't talk about Benner because he's, I'm still salty.
Oh, yeah. We're some very salty Americans right now.
You know what? Whatever. It is what it is.
It is what it is, man.
Yeah. It was cool he went out there. I know that he got a lot of hate before, that he doesn't kind of live up to that, starting role and everything. But, he went out there and stood on his head and,
oh man, I'll admit I was the first one to start ragging on him because I guess watching Blues hockey when I can. Past couple seasons have been a little shaky. Doesn't really have the support back there, and being a Caps fan, like I know all about retooling and rebuilding on the fly. So, once you get the right players, it's gonna start clicking, kind of like that cup run you guys had where you barely made it in and you just started wiping the floor with everybody else, man. So.
Yep.
Let's get to the lengthy subject. Can you tell us all about the Warrior Winter Classic, which I'm very excited to hear about because we kind of talk about that, like we see the Stadium Series, we see the Warrior Classic, and like, man, that'd be so cool to play in an outdoor barn like that. And you guys kind of had the name of having a Warrior Winter Classic. I know Vegas did it with who was it? Seattle, and went up there. And we played at the one of the practice rinks there, but where did you guys play? Did you guys get to go to the play on the ice? Did you get to go to the game? Like, what was that experience like?
Yeah, so obviously St. Louis played Chicago in the past Winter Classic, and we're talking about that one, right?
Yep.
Not the St. Louis one. All right, so when we went to Chicago, there are the Chicago Warriors up there, and every year around that time frame anyway, we go and play Chicago just as a friendly game, right? So when they were like, hey, the Warrior Classics or the Winter Classic's going to be here, why don't you guys come up? We'll play a game or two. It's at the practice facility for the Blackhawks. And then after that, a couple of you guys, when I say a couple, I mean like, I think it was 20 of us total. We got tickets, I think, from the Blues to go to the Winter Classic, and then Chicago gave like 20 tickets to the Chicago Warriors to go. That was like my real first time of being in Chicago. I've been there once in 2004. I don't remember it. I was, right out of high school, stuff like that. So I don't remember anything. I'm going to claim that as my first time. But going to Wrigley Field, we were 2 rows from, I think, first base. So we're like right there.
Whoa.
Tickets.
Next to everything, right? The only bad thing was they elevated the ice. So they built a platform. And so all I saw was heads circling around the game, right? But whatever, right? It's a once in a lifetime, opportunity. And then we were right next to where the Blues came out to go to the rink, so they would walk by us. And if you go to the Blues Facebook, I'm actually on there,
nice,
screaming and stuff. But I have the hockey.
Oh yeah.
Oh man, that's sweet.
Yeah, but they'd stop and take pictures with us and stuff like that because everybody's wearing their Blues Warriors gear and they already know us as it is. One of the Chicago guys, his son got a stick from a Blues player.
Nice.
Yeah, because eventually we all found each other and just kind of merged in one location because people started leaving from Chicago because they were losing, and So like all the Warriors just kind of flocked from all over the stadium into where we were at, and then we're all just having a good time, and talking to the Blues as they're leaving, and everything. It was a great experience. Something that my wife is pretty salty about that she didn't go, because we only got it wasn't you plus one, it was just you.
Yeah.
And I mean, if I had to pay for it, I'm not gonna lie, I don't know if I'd go. That's a lot of money to fork out tickets to the Winter Classic, let alone Chicago.
That's like my wife was salty that you and I went on our bro date to F1.
Oh yeah, that was amazing.
Yeah, we went. And I was showing her pictures. She's like, "Man, I really wanted to go," and she didn't talk to me the rest of the day. I was like, "You okay? Is everything all right?
Yeah.
I'll take you next year."
Yeah. I was like, I even told my wife, I'm like, "Are you sure?" And she goes, "Yeah, it's a once in a lifetime." She goes, "I'm not happy with you, but you gotta go."
Yeah. Hell yeah.
Like, all right. I mean, I could stay home. You sure? But yeah, no, it was great. It was probably one of the coolest things I've seen.
Now, you mentioned the Blues Winter Classic. Was that out in the barn?
No, that one was on. They did that one at Busch Stadium.
Wow.
But I think that was our very first year as an organization. So I think we had tried to set up something, but it just didn't come to fruition. But yeah, they made it. You have to look at the pictures of it. I think they did like a guitar-shaped theme. It was like all music themed because St. Louis is kind of jazz and all that stuff. So they made it real. It was really cool to see. I didn't go to it, but watched it on TV and stuff.
So the organization played outdoors. Who did you guys play? Do you remember?
No, I don't think we were able to attend that one as an organization that year because that was our very first year.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Very cool, very cool. And so when you play in Chicago, you said, it was a really good experience. Was it a pretty competitive game? What kind of level do you say it was? D through...
We sent a mixture of Alpha to Delta, right? It was pretty much everybody that was going to the Winter Classic was kind of playing. We played their Bravo team that just won the Gateway Classic.
Okay.
So as you can imagine, it was a stomping. I think they won 7-1.
Oh, wow.
Which
Okay.
we returned the favor at Winter Classic and won 6-1.
Oh, okay. There you go.
Yeah.
So you guys are 1-1. Are you guys looking forward to a rematch?
Yeah.
No. No.
But now the Chicago guys, though, they're a great group of people. I mean, very hospitable. And I mean, like I said, they're just great people. I haven't really met a Warrior organization minus Philly Alpha that I did not like. I'm gonna throw that on there. I hope they listen.
I think Philly knows that they're a tough group to love, but I think they also pride themselves in that. It's a tough game to play against Philly. We did a couple years ago. We played them, and we were fortunate to come out on top. And so, but I think they live up to that same Philly kind of like gritty person, So
I mean, and that just kind of comes with the colors of the package. Like, what was it? The first time they hosted their Warrior tournament, I was actually tagged along with Colorado in the famed Philly versus Colorado beatdown that was going on.
That was my first ever Warrior tournament.
In Philly? Or I guess in
Jersey.
Philly.
And that was rough. So, I mean, I had only been playing not even a year, I don't even think. And, I mean, we played at a Delta level. We played Philly Charlie because they rostered at the lowest level. And, I mean, they'll say they beat us 13-3, but it was 23-3. I mean, it was a beatdown.
Jeez.
And I was like, like this sucks. But I mean, I had a blast, but it sucked.
It's funny because we talk about Philly like that, but I think at one point during that game I headbutted somebody, but then we go to the social and it's like, hey, you good? We're good. All right, let's have a beer together.
Right.
And that's what I love about Warrior hockey, man. Is you could absolutely hate someone's guts for 60 minutes maybe, and then you get off the ice and it's like, all right, we're back to having a good time with our boys. And and some people of course take it overboard a bit, but at the end of the day, the people that have been in the program for long enough kind of know what the program is meant for.
Oh yeah.
And that's what I appreciate about Warrior hockey, and I'm probably never going to quit until I can't walk anymore. So
yeah, I mean, I've made friends from every organization, and I mean, we've gotten into some scuffs with some people, and after that, you're like, hey, let's go drink a beer. You go drink a beer, and then you're good until you get back on the ice again.
Yeah.
Right.
I mean, I'm friends with all of them still. I mean, I'm friends with most of them on Facebook. I got some that I text and stuff like that, and email. But I have no hard feelings towards really anybody.
And Warrior hockey, it's such a brotherhood, sisterhood, man. And I just, I love that about it.
Yeah, we've done that before too. I think it was in Denver. Our team and Carolina, the Warriors, we played against each other, and it was a tough game. Like I think I got taken out like slide tackled or something like that. Like it was wild. And then right after the game, we went and watched Jurky. He was playing on our upper team, and it just so happens that I think you guys were playing their upper team. And so both the teams that had just faced each other, we met in the bleachers and we were all drinking, and the whole group was intermixed. There wasn't a line down like our team versus you team, and it was everyone just hanging out, having a great time. And, it's like the game before it didn't even matter.
Right. Funny thing about that game was I actually knew two of those guys from when I played youth hockey. One of them I played with Bantams, and then the other one I played juniors with. So as soon as I saw them, we were just yapping right off the bat, like, how you been, buddy? So like the whole time I'm on his ass, give him a couple here, let him know I'm there. But at the end of the day, I think they actually beat us pretty severely. I think it was 7-3 maybe. But at the end of the day, you get in the handshake line and it's like, all right, let's go catch up. Yeah. Let's go get a beer.
Yep.
Right, exactly. We'll take another, sharp turn here. Did you want to talk to us, Drew, about your military background? I know you said you were in the Air Force for 8 years.
Yep.
You want to describe, how your experience was, your job, and just kind of how your time in the military was?
So I have I guess it's not a weird military career. So when I joined the military, at first I wanted to join the Marines. I don't know why. I did. And my mom talked me out of it. So I'm like, all right, I'll go to the Air Force.
Thank God.
But I'm going to find whatever job possible that pretty much puts me on the front line. So I joined the Air Force doing pararescue.
Nice.
So Air Force Special Operations stuff. Went through, BSOC, which is kind of like the beginning portion of it. Hurt my hip or whatnot, so then I got washed out. And then placed into services, which in the Air Force is food, fitness, mortuary, and lodging. Like the lowest of the low, right? I was pissed. I was like, I don't want to do this anymore. I'm just going to leave the military right now. They're like, no. You do your time. You come back to us in 18 months. You'll be good to go. So I'm like, all right, well, I go through that school, and then I get to my first duty station at Luke Air Force Base in Phoenix, Arizona, which, if you've never been to Phoenix, I mean, it's like Vegas, right? It's hot, desert,
dry.
Never go back.
Yeah.
I was like, man, I can't do this. Like, I need to do something different, So I got my deployment orders to, I think I was supposed to go to IUD or something like that. And I was like, really? Like, this is dumb. This is not a deployment. This is R&R. And then one of the girls that was supposed to go to Afghanistan waited to the last minute to tell everybody that she had a dental disqualification. So they're like, hey, Drew, you're going. I'm like, all right. So I went to Fort Riley, Kansas for 4 months, learned how to do the Army shit, right? Kicking doors, Humvees, firing all kinds of crew-served weapons. I loved it. Greatest time of my life. Ship out to Afghanistan for about 7 months, and that's all I did for 7 months was do convoys and kicking doors. And I was like, this is the greatest thing in the world. Like, why do infantry guys bitch so much?
And you get to go back to your desk and chair when you're done, man.
Yeah.
It's like you get to do the cool guy stuff, and then you get to be in the best room when you get back home, man.
Right.
That's sweet.
Yep. So then, so I went back home, came back home from that, went to Kuwait, worked protocol. So all I was doing was dealing with, 07s and above and senators and getting them off their plane, handling their luggage.
Wow.
Like being their bitch for 6 months. Like, all right, whatever. Met some, I met McCain, Lieberman. I met almost every senior enlisted military member except for the Marine Corps. Met every one of those guys. A lot of 4-stars, whatnot. And then the base commander at the time, he was like, hey, I know you want to cross-train. What are you looking at? And I was like, well, I'm thinking about doing TAC-P or Intel. And he's like, well, you should look at UAVs. I was like, what's a UAV? He's like, drones. I was like, okay. So I applied. Drones, so UAV sensor operator was my top one. TAC-P was my second one. And then I had Intel from there, and the Air Force was like, all right, you qualify for all. So I was like, so do I get to pick? They said, nope. Get your first one. Always the first pick, right?
Yeah.
Luckily that worked out because my wife would have killed me. I would have never made it to TAC-P school. She would have killed me. So yeah, I went to basic sensor operator school, learned how to put bombs on targets. Did that, got stationed at Cannon Air Force Base, and I know a lot of people talk about how horrible it is, but I loved it. That was probably the first time that I felt like the military was a family. Like my neighbors were military. We all bonded the fact that we lived in the shittiest place in the world. And I don't care what any other branch has to say. If you've never been to Clovis, New Mexico, you've never been to the shittiest place in the world. It is horrible. Target was an hour and a half away.
Jeez.
Mm.
Yeah. Yeah, we had a Walmart and that was it.
That's the mall, baby.
Like our Applebee's was also a nightclub at nighttime. That's how great it was.
That's a win right there.
That's awesome, man.
It was called Club
That's
Beats.
awesome. Love it.
But it's ran by older people. It's in the Bible Belt. We had a security forces person. Her husband was a DJ in Vegas when they were stationed at Nellis. So she got stationed out there, and he was like, "Well, what am I going to do? I'm a DJ. There's nothing there, right?" And even though Clovis is like the gateway for music to LA, so the last person to ever record there was Taylor Swift. So there's a lot of music history in Clovis. But he was like, you know what? I'm going to have a nightclub at the community center. And that dude, he made so much money in that one night. He paid the community center's rent for the next year or two. And then the people that were in charge were like, you're done. No more. We don't want
Club B's, man.
Right. It was horrible. He did the community a great service, but they were like, nah, we don't want that here. Take that out.
I don't know why that makes me think of, you've ever seen that meme and it's like, what the fuck is up, Denny's? That's like a DJ at Applebee's. Yo, oh man, that's so cool. That's fun, man.
But, I did that. I worked with, so Clovis is an AFSOC base, so Air Force Special Operations Command. So I only worked with, Navy SEALs, the Army guys that shall not be named, Rangers, all those guys. And,
Delta.
Yeah. Worked with those guys, and that's all I did for, a few years. And it was a lot of hours. It's not what you see on Xbox. I used to stare at a house for 4 months. Got to the point where I could draw that in my sleep.
That's wild, man.
Yeah. So, and I got out, and now I work at the National Geospatial Intelligence Agency. And if I see stuff like that, I'd be like, oh, I know exactly where you're at. Because I've spent so many days looking at a screen. I can tell you just by the grid coordinate where you're at, what country and everything like that. And, yeah.
Whiskey Charlie? I thought, what was that? Was that the map identifier, Whiskey Charlie for Afghan? Or was that Whiskey Delta? Or I could be thinking about a training map.
I think it's Whiskey Charlie.
Yeah.
Hey.
It's funny, I brought my map back from Afghanistan. It's folded up somewhere. But it's got all the fucking map markings on it.
I think it's 42 Sierra Whiskey Charlie. I think is Afghanistan marker.
Yep.
Where were you? Where were you at in Afghanistan? When were you there?
Camp Black Horse, right outside of Kabul, right before the J-Bed Pass. I was there from, I think I was in there 2000. It was either 2007 or 2008. I can't remember. It may have been 2008. January 2008 is when I was there. So I've been all over Arsik East. You know, I went to Mazar Sharif, spent time in the mountains, went to Torkham Gate. I mean, I went everywhere besides south. I was there when they blew up the prison in Kandahar, and we sent some Marines down there, and I was supposed to go, but then they told me no because I was going home like the next week. So they're like, "Yeah, we're not going to risk it. You can just hang back." But they didn't see anything, so I was kind of pissed.
Yeah, I got to Fenty and J-Bad in December 2008.
Okay, I
was there,
stayed at Camp Huey right across the street.
Yeah.
Unless it changed the names, I don't remember.
I'm not sure.
That's the last known place of Bin Laden. He watched it at the tea shop, watched 9/11 at the tea shop right across the street.
I did not know
Damn.
that.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's interesting.
Yeah, it's pretty fun. I enjoyed it. I'd go back.
Yeah, I always said.
I think we all would.
I always said that. I mean, yeah, it was a war zone, but like the middle of the night, you know, you look up at the stars and everything, and just
Beautiful.
you see everything. You know, gorgeous mountains all around there.
Oh,
Like,
yeah.
Yeah, it's.
I mean, I've told my wife, I'm like, you know, surprisingly, I mean, I know the Russians really tore up Afghanistan, but Afghanistan in a whole is actually a beautiful country.
Oh yeah.
I mean, had the Russians not really gone in there and just destroyed everything, I mean, you've seen movies of it in the past, and it was like ski resorts and all that stuff. It was, I mean, it's beautiful.
Yeah. It's kind of unfortunate, you know, how it's kind of gone downhill because it really is a beautiful, beautiful land, and you know, I love
Yep.
my time there, you know, when I was there. So, yeah.
I get a lot of Afghanistan vibes here in Vegas, especially when you crest through Boulder City, you see this huge mountain range, light snow caps on top. It's all
Yep.
desert. You're like, oh my god,
Oh yeah.
this is amazing.
Yep.
With the Blues Warriors program, you guys are very successful. Do you have any other events that might be coming up that you're excited about personally?
I mean, me personally, I'm always excited about the ones I run, just because I know that I put the time in to make sure that it's right. So, obviously, the I-70 that we throw in about September 11th timeframe, we go to Jeff City. So we meet Kansas City at our state capitol and play a game there at the like right outside the capitol. You know, and then Toys for Tots. I mean, I have never found an event that was more impactful than the Toys for Tots, because, you know, once we collect the toys, that's great. You're playing hockey. We do an Army-Navy game, so it's right before the Army-Navy football game. So we have an Army-Navy hockey game. And then, you know, I mean, we've brought in, the 2 years I've done this, we've brought in, I think, about 16 boxes of toys, right?
Now, is that game an internal game with the Blues and surrounding? And you just pick,
so the
Army
first year I
guys?
did it, it was only the Blues Warriors. And then last year I expanded, brought in Tulsa, and then brought in a local team. But, I mean...
Army Navy or kind of a mix?
Yeah, and then we ended it with an Army-Navy game at the end.
Okay.
So this year I haven't really decided how the configuration of how I want to do it. I like bringing in local teams, but at the same time I don't, because they take things to a level that I don't want to see Warrior hockey go to, in terms of, like, when it gets chippy, you know, some of our guys don't know how to turn it off, right? And then it can be bad. And these guys don't understand that. They like to really push the buttons, and I don't want to see that, especially when this is a charity event.
Yeah.
So I will figure out the landscape of that one closer to time. But what's more impactful for me is not the game. It's going out closer to Christmas, and we go to like 5 different cities in the St. Louis metro area, and we deliver toys to the kids. And that right there. I mean, if you haven't done something like that, you need to, because that will be like, that's just like life changing right there. You really get to see the less fortunate, like the smile on these kids' faces when you show up with like Nerf guns and Barbies and stuff like that, and a bicycle. It's like you just change their whole world.
That's awesome.
Yeah, hopefully we'll get something like that going here. I'm gonna try to keep doing, planning that Toys for Tots game for next year. So,
well, let me know, because I got contacts everywhere, buddy.
Yeah.
I have so the Marine Corps League that I work with here. He goes to Vegas to SHOT Show. He knows everybody, and he can set it up for you. So if you need somebody, I'll take care of it for you.
Absolutely, yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah, and then so next month we have our gala, which is, I mean, a gala, way to raise money, right? So this will be our second one that we've done, and then we kind of just take a break from the internal stuff, and it's mostly, I think nationals are in April, and then Hindies in June, and then I know our Delta team is going to New York in August.
Before
something, I don't know. It's with the Long Island Warriors in August.
Interesting.
I think they have a tournament up there in August, and then obviously Warrior Classic in November.
Very cool. Yeah, I'm kind of curious about that, because was it the Vegas team where we were talking about, if we got picked up for a trip in New York? We were in New Jersey, actually.
I know what you're talking about, because they do that every year.
Yeah.
It's
hosted by the Long Island Warriors.
Yeah, last year our Alpha team got picked up, but that one is put on by USA Hockey. It's like the Armed Forces thing or something like that, where they pick teams that are in Warrior Hockey. Like you have to apply, and then they'll pick you or something like that.
Oh, the Federal Credit Union thing.
Yeah, that one.
Yeah. Oh, that'd be so sick, man. So I think when I moved here, Lone Star had got picked up for it, and they were like, they were like calling me and they're like, "Hey man, you've been there since day one. Come out." I'm like, "Dude, I'm in a house with 2 kids and a bunch of boxes, man. I ain't going nowhere. So you guys have fun. You earned it.
Yep.
That's awesome. I did want to touch on one question personally.
Okay.
There's a lot of people that aren't quite sure what Warrior Hockey is. They're just like, okay, it's a bunch of veterans that play hockey and they're getting recognition with, name. But like, to you personally, what is Warrior Hockey to you? What does it mean? And how could you convince somebody to be like, hey, come out, check it out?
Man, so yes, Warrior Hockey is disabled veterans playing hockey. I mean, plain and simple. But that's the small picture. Big picture. And I think it's the term that Warrior Hockey in general uses now is hockey heals, right? So it's, at least in our organization, it is, we are using hockey as a way to heal veterans after they get out, whether it's, needing the camaraderie or mental health or physical aspect of it. We are healing them through the sport of hockey at all levels. It's a way to, from the highest level athlete to the never laced up his skates, to be a part of what the military was for all of us, which is camaraderie, right? We all, at the end of the day, whether we don't talk to our brothers and sisters like we used to, we still have them in the back of our heads. They're always there, right? And this is just Warrior Hockey is just another outlet that's like the military. So you could be, we have colonels, we're retired colonels all the way to, privates. But we're all one. And we're all just working together to help each other on and off the ice. We're just trying to make everybody better and really giving back to the veteran community and community as a whole. And that's to me, that's what warrior hockey is. It's just a way to bring the military back to the civilian world in a different level. Just playing the sport of hockey and bringing that camaraderie back to our people.
Yeah, no, I think that's a great description. Personally, my time being involved with warrior hockey, because starting it, I think I figured out in 2019 what warrior hockey was. Started in Dallas and then made my way over to Vegas. And I've come across some pretty awesome people including myself, to where it's actually saved our lives. Whether it's a physical aspect of getting back into a healthy figure, or just mentally being around people you can be comfortable with. And I know for me that provides an outlet like that, and many others that kind of go through their unspoken battles.
Yeah. I mean, the biggest thing that's ever hit me was when we were in Philly. I had never met Mike McKenna, never even heard of him, and everybody was like, "Oh, Mike this, Mike that," and I'm like, "Who the fuck is Mike? Like, I don't know this guy." And he shows up and he's like, "Oh, hey guys, I'm Mike," and I'm like, "Okay, hi." And he was coaching us, and that, it was great. But what really set the tone for me for warrior hockey was after our beatdown with Philly, one of the guys on my team, Bill Southers, was like, "Guys, I got to be real with you." And we all looked at him. Everybody shut up. And I mean, he was in tears, and he's like, "You saved my life." Right? I mean, this guy has a Purple Heart. He was, POW in Afghanistan, I think, either Afghanistan or Iraq for a short period of time. Really been through the ringer, right? And seeing him just open up to everybody about how being back with his brothers and sisters, even though he had only been with us for a short time and we didn't really know him, but just seeing him just say, "Hey guys, like, you saved me." I mean, like that fucking hits you, and that hits you hard. And to this day, if you were to ask Mike, like, what his biggest thing in warrior hockey was that. I mean, dude started crying right after that. He was like, "Holy fuck, like, this is the real deal." And I think if you really get people to understand, like, we always preach the 22 a day, but if you get people to understand, like, programs like this could stop that. And, like, that's the biggest thing. At the end of the day, that's what we're trying to stop, is 22 a day.
Yeah, it's like my kind of mantra for warrior hockey is never alone. Like,
Yep.
hockey in itself is a team aspect, and coming to the civilian world after the military, mostly it's big. I think it might be bigger on the active duty side, because we're used to being with each other every day constantly, and then you transition to the civilian world, and you try your best to kind of repurpose yourself, but that camaraderie you miss, and groups like this, whether it's hockey or whatever other sport or activity or something like that, like these are kind of vital programs to ensure that 22 starts ticking down,
Yep.
because we're terrible when we're by ourselves and in our own heads, and we don't have an outlet, and we can't just you want to be like your spouse is kind of who you should be able to talk to, but even then, like, there's only so much you can say, and so much
It
they
ain't
can
happening,
relate.
brother.
Yeah, so
Yeah.
Unless they've been in, I mean, you could try all day to explain it.
Yeah.
But it's not happening, right?
Yeah.
You have to find like-minded people. And, I understand that there's a ton of, organizations out there for veterans. But this is the only one that I've actually found and been a part of that actually is ran by veterans, helping veterans. Like, I mean, yes, the VFW is there, but that's ran by mostly older veterans who are now retired, and they've did their share of stuff back in the day. What we've done compared to them is totally different. I mean, it's the same thing, but it's different, right? I mean, same with, like, World War II and Vietnam. Still veterans, but they did two totally different things, conflicts, right? So neither one of them is going to understand each other. But with warrior hockey, most of the guys that play, if not all, are OIF, OEF guys. right?
Mhm.
So we know where their mindset's already at. And that's how we can help each other, knocking that number down.
Yeah, it's your new unit. It's
Yep.
another network
Exactly.
for people, for friends, and um, like you said, like-minded. Like, I'm sure I could bring my experience to you guys, and you guys will be able to relate, and
Oh, yeah.
vice versa. So, yeah, these programs are amazing, and personally, obviously, a little biased, but the hockey is probably like one of the better ones. So
Yeah, and what's cool is it's not just the U.S. I mean, like Jurky saw, we brought in the Denmark guys.
Yep.
Yo, they're a trip.
Right?
I love
So
those guys.
That's a whole nother level of crazy already on their own. But I mean, to think about the fact that we've only focused warrior hockey in the United States. There's warrior hockey in Canada. There's warrior hockey Germany, Sweden, Denmark. I mean, imagine what warrior hockey could be if we didn't just focus on USA warrior hockey alone, right? So that was kind of one of the things why I brought the Danish in. And I mean, those guys were fantastic. I have never met a nicer group of people in my life. And then I got to talking with them. They're like, "Oh, do you want the contact information for Sweden and for Germany?" I'm like, "Oh shit!" Like,
Yeah,
Yes, please,
absolutely.
yeah.
you really want to take this like worldwide? Like,
Hell yeah.
Yeah, I can't wait to see us start going over there and playing
right?
in some of their barns. Like that'd be a trip.
That would be fantastic. Sign me. You know what? I will come out of retirement and play in Denmark one time.
Yeah.
I think I knew they were a vibe from when I was kind of giving the team, like, hey, here's a couple things to think about. We're all kind of half dressed, getting in the zone, and I got two blonde haired, bearded guys that are just drunk off their ass at like 3 p.m, like saying, "Let's swap gear." I'm like, yes, let's do it.
Dude, so what's crazy was, like, I'd been talking to them for about 2 years. I tried to get them out to the previous Gateway Classic, but money-wise, they couldn't finagle it. So then I was talking to them. I'm like, hey, so when you become friends with them on Facebook, they like every post that you put on there. And so, like, every time my son was playing lacrosse or it was his birthday, they were like, "Oh, happy birthday," or "Dude, you're fucking awesome." And I was like, "Hey, do you want to, like, swap some shit with my son?" So, like, they brought over a gift bag full of stuff, like hoodie, coins, pucks. I mean, you name it.
Whoa.
And then my son gave them his sweatshirt from the lacrosse team and stuff like that. And I mean, those guys they love to just swap.
Yeah.
And it was great. Like, I mean, I swapped my game jersey because I knew I was done. And I told Thomas, I was like, "Hey, you want to swap jerseys?" He's like, "Yeah." And I was like, "All right, pick your one. I got my home and away." And he looked at me because everybody else has been like practice jerseys. And I was like, "Nah, you get the real deal." And he was like, "Oh shit!" Like, okay. And so I gave up my away or my home jersey, and was like, "All right, we're doing this." And then, like, I've seen people swap gloves and I'm surprised somebody didn't swap skate with those guys.
Man.
I mean, they are the greatest group of human beings ever, and they love America.
Oh, yeah. There's one guy running around with like a cowboy hat and some boots.
Yeah.
I was like, hell yeah, brother.
Yeah, and Anheuser-Busch. They think that's the greatest beer ever. Budweiser is the best. I'm like, brah, that is the grossest beer. What is your problem?
Oh man, no, that was a blast seeing those guys, and yeah, like you said, man, like we need to take this stuff worldwide because it would be so much fun. Because I know they would put together like a Team USA, and we would actually go over there to Denmark and play their collective team. And I think Ron Anderson with VVHF was like, "Hey man, why don't we take it international? We just get a sponsor or two and go on a road trip and go on a Euro trip and play Team Germany, Team Sweden, Team Italy. Maybe get some guys from Aviano to come out and put together a team. Like
Oh yeah."
yeah."
And,
I was like,
now that I have the contacts that I do, like, we're one step closer to making that happen. And I mean, dude, I think it would be fantastic if we were like, hey, we're gonna put one Warrior or maybe even two Warrior hockey, USA Warrior hockey teams together, depending on the level, right? If you need like an alpha level, we can take groups of guys from all over Warrior hockey, right? Make one USA team at the upper level, one at the lower, one at the middle, and we go over and we do something like the NHL did, with the Four Nations face-off.
Oh, that'd be so fun. That'd be so fun, dude.
You could do it. It'd be easy, and I guarantee you, the sponsorship would just flow at that point, right?
Yeah.
As soon as somebody caught wind of like, oh shit, like we're doing it, but at a different level, not professional level, but a disabled veteran level,
Mm-hmm.
dude, that's money right there.
Internationally too, the coverage for that would be tremendous compared to what we have now.
Yeah, I mean, the possibilities for that could be endless. I mean, you could even do more than 4. Obviously, I mean, every country's got a freaking military, and they all got disabled veterans probably playing hockey somewhere.
Yeah.
Yep.
Especially in Europe, hockey's life.
Oh yeah.
For real. That's a cardio workout too with their ice.
Oh yeah. So I
Olympic
mean,
sheets.
It's something to think about. I mean, it's something I could even start working, at the small level. But I think that'd be fantastic.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, that'd be fun. Nate, do you have anything else? I mean, we kind of covered, everything on the sheet.
Yeah. So, you said you're kind of hanging your skates up and you're done directing the tournament. So one more time, like, what are your plans within the Blues organization, the Blues Warriors organization going forward?
Well, so I thought about it. I knew for a fact that this would be my last year running the tournament. I mean, I start, I started August prepping for the tournament. When I first started, I had a team of 5, and then now this year, I think I had a team of 12. And for me personally, like when I have something in my head that we're doing it this way and that's it, right? And you start adding people in there, then it's a lot of bickering and whatnot. So I knew, I was like, you know what? I think it's time for me to be done. It's time to pass the torch. Somebody else can come up with ideas and grow this. I think I've set a good foundation of what the Gateway is and where it could go. Now it's time for somebody else to take over. I didn't know I was going to hang my skates up until Sunday of the tournament when I threw my back out and couldn't feel my legs for about an hour and I was like, yeah, I already have back issues and hockey's probably not the greatest sport in the world for my back.
I can contest to that.
And I was like, eventually I'm going to have to do back surgery. And, once you go down that path, you're kind of done playing sports in general. So I was like, you know what? I don't want to leave the organization at all because then I know I'll be going in a downward spiral if I left altogether. I mean, we have an alumni roster, but to me, that wasn't enough for me personally. So I reached out to Coach Harv and Greg, the president, and then Nico, who is our coaching director. And I was like, what about I help coach, at the assistant level for the lower team? I know all the guys. I've played with them for 4 years. I know how they think, how they act. All of you guys are civilians. So what do you think about adding me to the staff with a different perspective on in hockey? I mean, I'm not knowledgeable at all compared to these guys that have played their whole life, but I bring in a different knowledge of how these guys work mentally.
Yeah.
And they were like, you know what? That sounds like a good idea. So I was like, all right, so I'll be, coaching or helping coach the lower level team. Because I've been an assistant captain with that team, on and off for the past 4 years. So, it made sense for me to, instead of just completely hang up, it was more, I'll move my talents and whatnot at a different level with these guys.
I think that's very important that you're staying with the organization and kind of taking that role, because you're right. Yeah, of course they have the whole hockey aspect of it, but also translating that through somebody that, let's be real, somebody to listen to that has been there for a minute. That's, like you said earlier, that has been through similar situations and things that they've done. Me personally, I look at that guy, and taking what the coach is, translating it, and like you said earlier, dumbing things down. That's huge. To me, that's a glue guy. That's a glue role that every successful, I would dare say, team needs.
Right.
So I'm glad you're staying with them and taking that role.
Yeah, I just felt like that's where I belong. Like I coach football for little kids. I'm trying to pick up lacrosse for my son, which, if you haven't watched lacrosse, I'm just gonna put it out there. Probably be your new favorite sport to watch, especially indoor lacrosse. It's on a whole nother level of craziness. It's hockey without skates.
They have a pro league, don't they?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think there's a team in Vegas.
There is, yeah, the Desert Dogs. It's owned by Wayne Gretzky, actually.
Yeah.
Get the fuck out. Really?
Yeah.
Dude,
now we got to go
watch it.
rock
It
to
is
the
intense.
Desert Dog games. We're going now.
Oh, shit.
It's played in an indoor. It's played in a hockey rink, but turf, and they throw people into the boards, everything. It's
like
just not skating.
hockey and rugby mixed together. It's wild.
Yep, it's amazing.
Yeah, we gotta go. We gotta go now.
Yeah, I wish, I was looking at taking my son to one, but Chicago had one, but it folded. So
Ooh.
there's not a team close enough. Vegas is probably the closest one, because I think New York and all the northeastern states have the rest of the teams.
Yeah.
Mm.
Well, come on out, man. We'll go to a game.
Hey, man. Yeah.
I may have to. but yeah, so it's I love, not just being a part of the team, but contributing. I'm more of I don't need, the gratitude and all that stuff. I just want to just be there to help these guys get better, because I would love to see, our Delta teams progress in skill, right? But the only way to do that is if you dumb these things down, and you got to have the right person to dumb it down from the professionals. And
yeah.
I talk to Coach Harv probably daily. I have a good rapport with all the coaches and the board members. So when I approached it that way and was like, this is what I'm thinking, everybody was like, yep, you're good. Let's do it.
Yeah, and it's nice for you too. You said you coached before for other sports and stuff too, but having this kind of new monster for you, yeah, you may not be skating, but you're still, involved in progressing and growing your knowledge and experience in hockey. So
Right.
that'd be cool to see you out there, seeing what you can do for the boys. So
Yeah, and
Very
I've been
cool.
asked to be I can't think of the word, almost like a liaison for the tournament. So I'll still be around. I just won't be
as hands-on.
in charge. I'll just kind of be in the background saying, hey, this is what I think you should do. This is how I've done it. Obviously, whatever works best for the next person, but my experience, this is what has worked the best so far. And like I said at the beginning, I would say that ours is probably one of the best ran tournaments, start to finish. But I'm biased, so.
Yeah, no, you're not wrong, and you guys are doing every year. I know the the Warrior what do they call it, Warrior Classic or whatever in October, and the championship. It's kind of, they bounce around, so every year is kind of hit or miss what you're getting. But you can see that the Blues Warriors, you guys are continuously growing and making the tournament really nice, and it's always fun to
you
come
will
out.
see changes in Warrior hockey. I can promise you, there will be changes in Warrior hockey from the get-go. After having discussions this past weekend with the president, I gave him my 2 cents on how I foresee Warrior hockey going, and he was on board with what I was telling him. And I think what I said was basically every veteran's opinion. So you will see. I think you will see better things come out of Warrior hockey in the years to come. It's just it'll be slow. Obviously, you got to crawl before you can run.
Any details you can share?
Um,
Or you want to save it?
No. I mean, some of the stuff that we talked about was, making sure that divisions were fair. Obviously, when you go to a USA tournament, right, you have no idea who you can play. You could be playing a Bravo team at the Delta level, right? We've seen it. We've seen all kinds of stuff. And so one of the things that I had talked to him about was he needed to put together a committee that went through rosters like we do, right? Just at our level, but at the highest level, having a group of people from all over Warrior hockey, not just one organization, but all the organizations, or one from each state, and coming together and saying, all right, yeah, I know this person, I know who this person is. So when you look at rosters, you're like, oh, yeah, no, this is where they should be, right? We've played them in the past. This is so that's going to happen. You're going to see playing field go from this to this. It might not be this year, may not be next year, but eventually you're going to start seeing that playing field level out. There will be, from talking to him, there will be a definitive set of level of skill. So like if you're at tier 7, this is what tier 7 is. It needs to be black and white. There is no loopholes, no nothing. You're tier 7, you played hockey 1 to 2 years, right? I don't care what your age is. That tier 7's learn to play, level.
Yeah.
There should be nobody, that's ever played at a higher tier going down to that tier. And then so on and so on. So you're going to start to see all these things come together. And I think my hope is that within a couple years, Warrior hockey will probably be the best ran organized sport for veterans that there could be at all levels. Like, it'll be fair, it'll be fun. You're going to see competition, but it's going to be level competition, right? You're not going to see lopsided stuff.
Yeah.
I think you probably will stop seeing 7-1 games in the near future. It'll be 3-2, stuff like that, But it'll take every organization to get on board, right? That's the only way that Warrior hockey survives, is if we all come together and say, you know what, yeah, that's what needs to happen. It's not just what's best for my organization. It's what's best for all.
Yeah.
Because that's what we're here for, right?
Yeah.
We're here for all.
Yeah.
Yep.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Because, like Jurky, right? You started out in Dallas, you're now in Vegas. So you're now in 2 organizations. Imagine somebody else that's moved to a different one. And, somebody that comes from St. Louis who's used to playing at this level, because that's how we define it. And they're like, oh, we're going to go this one, but we don't care. Like, we're going to sandbag the crap out of it. And it's like, is that really what you should be doing?
Right.
We all have a code of honor that we're supposed to live by. It's time for Warrior hockey to kind of
get back to that.
Yeah, like I was saying before, there's some tournaments, that come here or that we go to that it's not fun to play in anymore because, they say they care and, they have some kind of structure for how to, classify players, but, it sometimes it doesn't pan out and you go talk to them and they're like, well, whatever. And so it just
like, how can we fix this? Yeah.
Beer League's the best example of just putting people in random spots. Have fun with it.
Yeah. Drew,
well,
go ahead.
I wasn't gonna bring it up, but kind of going back to this past tournament, there was a situation involving myself and a couple of other guys. I don't know if you wanted to touch base on that. We don't have to name drop people.
No, you know what? I will. I'll set the record straight on this one. All right. So it was my mess up, right? Between all the emails and all the stuff that I get when it gets closer to time, I didn't see everything, right? So I placed Vegas in a tier that I shouldn't have, right? I probably should have put you up a tier or two, ahead. Obviously, with Battleborn, I love those guys to death, just like I love, the Vegas team, Vegas veterans. I love both of you guys to death. I knew that there was already the rivalry between the two. So yeah, plain and simple, I made a mistake on that one, but it wasn't the only one. We had a bunch of teams that did the same thing. Like I said, at the end of the day, we're human. But I think the biggest step that we made was that Friday night. We brought every organization in and we said, all right, you know what? Here's what's going on. This has got to stop. Obviously, we can't change it this weekend because ice is, once you make a schedule, right, you can't change the schedule, unless the stars align, which never happens.
Right.
Last year when Battleborn came for the very first time, I put them at a low Charlie and they got stopped, right? But I couldn't move them down because all the teams that were in the tier they would go to were equal, right? So I can't move one down. Then that just puts a whole hole in the schedule, messes everything up, right? Logistically, it's impossible.
Yep.
And so this year, I knew going into it that this is where they would be. This is, and so on and so on. But we had teams that said that they were at a level, but they obviously weren't. But you see them on the ice. And then I had some teams that called and said, "Hey, we you see you put us at this one. It may not be a good idea. We may need to go up." Well, as much as I would love to, I can't because I already have 6 teams here. If I move you up, that puts 7, puts 5 here. It messes everything up, So, yeah, I mean, it's sports, right? Nobody's perfect. Scheduling is hard. Anybody that's ever ran a tournament would know it. You're never going to be perfect, but the fact that we addressed it as a whole, everybody agreed on a rule. We should have never gotten to that far in the first place. But I think we put Warrior hockey in the right direction by saying, "Hey, you guys come together. We're not making the rule because that makes us look like shit, right? Because we may make a rule that benefits us, and we're not about benefiting our own organization. We're here for all of you guys. So you come up with a rule as a collective, and that's going to be the rule for the tournament. Then I don't want to hear any complaining. I mean, obviously I heard complaining still, but it is what it is.
Yeah,
That's like
I think it was a step in the right direction.
Right.
Yeah.
And then my last game of the tournament was probably the best way to go out. I have Vegas versus Vegas, and we ended on a fight. It is what it is.
Yeah.
I mean, could it have been avoided? Yes. That goes back to me saying, "Hey, I messed up." Right? Could have been avoided on the ice? Yeah, could have been. People could have not taunted each other, but we knew going into it that was going to be the case, right? You guys have a rivalry. Yeah. 2 Vegas teams. Be no different than 2 St. Louis teams. We're going to chirp the shit out of each other.
Mm-hmm.
But, both teams have said, "Hey, we're sorry. We shouldn't have acted like that." Okay. No harm, no foul. It is what it is. At the end of the day, we'll move on, right? We'll just get ready for the next time.
Yep. And we'll get ready for the next time and we'll do much better.
Yep. No, it was probably the most stressful tournament I've ever ran. Not because of Jurky at all, ever. Getting a phone call at 4 a.m. on Friday morning.
Yeah, my bad.
Thank you. And I'm just like, who is this guy they're talking about? And I had to go into my office and I'm like, does anybody know who this person is? And they're like, Steve. Finally, Steve Hayden was like, "Oh yeah, I know him. He played Lone Star." I'm like, "Yeah, apparently he's playing at Delta." Great. That's gonna go over real great.
Yeah.
But like I said, human. You got to put the human element into it, right? We're not perfect, and like I explained to a lot of teams, especially for you, Jurky. Like if you play when you play at that level, right? You dumb it down, right? You're not going full out. You're not going coast to coast and scoring. So when I pull up your stats, what do you think I find? I find nothing.
Yeah.
Because there is none. Because you're not going out there and you're not demolishing teams, right? If you were, I would have seen it and said, "Yeah, no."
Yeah, you're moving somewhere else, buddy.
You're moving somewhere else.
Yeah.
So yes, I get it. The fact that there was a higher level player at the lower level, it is what it is. I didn't see you act like a dick out there. Not compared to some teams. I've seen some teams when they played at the lowest level, and they're taking slap shots from the blue line, when they're already up 10-0, right?
Right.
It's one of those things where, like, until Warrior Hockey comes together as a collective and says, hey, here's all the stats, here's all the levels everybody's played at, you're never going to know. I don't have access to that stuff. It's all, I have to look at your Facebook, and do you really think I want to look at your Facebook on a random day? No, I don't.
Probably
I don't
not.
give a
Yeah.
shit.
We're
I'm
just
not
trying to play
gonna
hockey, man, at the end of the day.
Yeah, I'm not going to stalk you and figure out what you're doing in hockey.
Yeah.
And I know some people would like to see that, but I have a life, right? I don't get paid to do this.
Right.
I have a family, I have a job. I'm just here to put on the best possible event that I can for everybody to come here and have fun. And if I fail at that, that's on me. But if I don't, then great, it's a win. Everybody has fun.
Well, good news, you haven't failed at it yet. So, yeah, it's been a great tournament every time I've been there. Whether it was been with Lone Star or being in the alumni game or being there, helping Vegas kind of grow as a hockey state.
Yeah.
I haven't had any complaints about the Gateway Classic, and definitely look forward to coming to the next one.
Yeah, it'll be better than this year, right? Always better.
Yep. That's all you can ever ask, right?
Yeah.
Nate, you got anything, bro?
I don't. I think we'll end it. Drew, is there anything else you want to touch on at all? And if not, you want to plug the Blues Warriors socials and all that?
Man, I don't want to plug anybody's socials in. Are you kidding me? No, I want to say thank you guys. I have enjoyed, working with you guys on and off the ice. You and every organization that's in Warrior Hockey. I am blessed to know all of you guys. And I hope that more veterans across the country find teams like ours and join them or start their own team, right? And be a part of Warrior Hockey as a whole, right? Bring back that camaraderie that we need, and have fun. And, in terms of our socials, I don't even know them. I don't know the St. Louis Blues Warriors socials. Go to stlouisblueswarriors.com, I guess is what it is. Shit, I don't know.
At the end of the day, we're all out there. There's teams out there.
Every organization's out there. You just got to Google it and just say, all right, which one am I looking for? Vegas Veterans, got it. Battleborn, got it. North Carolina Warriors, cool. Go to Facebook and look it up. It's all there.
Yep. All right, man. I think we'll go ahead and end on that. If Jurky, you're good.
I'm good, baby.
All right, Drew. We can't thank you enough for joining us today. It's we've both known you for a good while, and it's been an honor to have you here with us, and chat hockey and chat about the military and stuff like that. So, thank you so much for coming on, and thank you for putting on an amazing tournament every year.
Appreciate it, Drew.
Yeah.
I appreciate it.
All right.
All right. Have a great night.
You too, buddy. Thanks.
All right. Bye.
See ya.